You are about to opt in to Monerotopia, a show for the Monero community where all are welcome to join. From noob to maxi, no matter what bags you hold. Just sit back and relax to the sweet sounds of Monero's latest progress. Or if you're feeling inspired, join us on stage. Remember, the only thing that can stop Monero is a false belief that it can be stopped. And if you want to win the revolution faster, we recommend you remove your XMR from all custodial exchanges immediately. Warning, voting accidents are common around here. Don't forget to properly secure your private keys. Monerotopia starts now. Aloha, everyone.
Right,
How's
she's
it
back.
going? Only back for today, guys. Don't get too
Cheers.
excited. I don't think people
Well,
really
you
miss me that much.
forgot our customs, or
Cheerios. I ran
you haven't been gone that long.
away. I know. Well, just trying to talk to the audience. Maybe not to you.
Tuxedo's been doing a good job though, taking
Yes, he
over,
has.
right?
I love it. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
He's doing an awesome job. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, Tuxedo. It's Tuxedo. You said tuxedo.
No, I said tuxedo.
Oh, I heard tuxedo.
Tuxedo.
But he's doing a great job. So thank you.
It's a Linux reference.
Yes, I know. He's
We
talked about it.
I'm such a hardcore Linux guy.
Oh yeah.
Actually, well, now I am getting more hardcore.
Are you now?
I now have my de-Googled Android phone.
Oh wow.
Which is very, very, very nice of Jake.
Yes,
round
Jake.
of applause to Jake. Yeah, so we met him down at Monerotopia. Super cool guy. He was on this week's Monero Talk. Highly recommend checking that out. He's just your atypical Monero guy, right?
Yep. Cool dude.
He'll take the shirt off his back to give it to you, type of guy. Such a nice guy.
Yeah, met him at Monerotopia. He had a great time and he helped us out a lot. So it was really awesome.
Yeah, and within the first 5 minutes of meeting him, he gave me this phone, which is amazing because it's something I always wanted to do but never did. So he set it all up for me. He gave me a Pixel 6 that's running graphene on it. I know, Bawdy, I know you have your opinions of. I think you're pro graphene, right? I don't. We'll get to that. I know some people like Calyx, some people like graphene, but most importantly, now I have it and I have it up and running, which is really nice. And it just feels
only
good.
took him a month.
Well, yeah, no. At first, we came back. I didn't even open the phone.
Faster than usual. Usually, he takes months.
Because I'm busy, man. I'm busy, but not right now. It's so beautiful, so pure. So I just have session on here, which so I'm gonna keep this very clean. I got my Monero.com, and I just recently downloaded Monerujo, which I've never tried out because I was always using my iPhone and whatnot.
And what a perfect day to start.
But I figured now that I have Android, I could try out the purest version of Monerujo. So we could talk with Anhdres about that. Sent myself my first Monero payment to my Monerujo, but I'm loving this. This is fantastic. And he actually he has a website where he sells these. It's I don't know if you want to put it in the. It's getgraphene.os.com. Yeah, if you want to look at it. It's right here.
Spell it wrong?
Get and then graphene, GRAPHENE, OS.com. There you go.
Share it with the people. Hold on.
So he's selling, for those of you who are kind of like me that, are into the privacy thing but aren't super techy, he does all the hard work for you, which is very cool. So he'll you could pay with Monero and he'll send you a Pixel 6 phone with graphene setup, or I think he even has an option where you can buy a phone or you could and send it to him, and then he'll de-Google it and put graphene on it. Which I guess this isn't the best way to proceed. I guess the best way to proceed is you do it on your own, obviously. But I don't know. He hooked me up. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's great. And now I'm actually using it, which is the most important thing, right? So there's that. What else should we announce? What else should we talk about?
Oh, MoneroCon and how we'll be going to.
Oh yeah, MoneroCon coming up very soon.
If you haven't bought your tickets yet, You should
That's like
so know.
what, like 2 weeks away? Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks away.
2 weekends away.
Yep, 2 weekends away. So we're very excited about that.
You could, if you haven't bought your tickets yet, you could use code
Monerotalk23 to get a 23% off.
Maybe type it in the notes. Monerotalk23 for 23% off.
Monerotalk23 for 20.
So that's very exciting. Excited for that. I think that's all like kind of the housekeeping, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, for the most part, yeah, just buy your tickets if you haven't yet. We're going to be there. We're looking forward to seeing everyone there. Go to monerocon.com. And I guess one last thing is we're going to be sharing or publishing our talks slowly starting next week. So I made a little website. Well, go to monerotopia.com/videos. And they should be there, or listen to our show, and you'll find out when they start to be published.
Yeah, we'll be posting them all on YouTube.
Yeah, but they'll be directly here. These are the playlists accordingly. And if you haven't checked out Monerotopia22, we have really good content there too. But starting next week, we're going to be starting to publish all our Monerotopia23 from Mexico City. So just be on the lookout.
2 a week or something.
Yeah, we're going to be doing 2 a week because there are a lot. So yeah, just be on the lookout. We'll be tweeting it, posting it on Reddit, and if not there, just go to our website and check out all the videos there when you want.
Very sweet. Oh, and the Nodo guys.
Oh,
we're pre-sale is still going on. If you're interested in it, check it out. Buy one. It helps. Although we're kind of getting crushed because we're accepting Monero for the purchases, and Monero has since plummeted in value. But we'll continue to do that. So now would be a good time to buy one, right? Hopefully Monero won't go much lower. I mean, a good time for us. So check that out, moneronodo.com. I think we have 11 people that have ordered so far. I want to get like at least 30 pre-sales going. We have hit a few bumps in the road. I won't get into the details with that. I'm going to have Abdullah on probably next week. He's the guy who's running this project, running the technicals of it. So he'll come on, he'll describe everything about the Nodo and talk about what's going on and when we could expect it to actually ship. But yeah, moving full speed ahead on that. We have some bumps in the road, but nothing that's going to completely derail us. So if you want to help with the project, the best way to help is to actually purchase one. And God forbid something doesn't work out for whatever reason, we'll return all the Monero sent to us for everybody that pre-ordered. But we are, I would say, like 90% of the way there. Like we're getting close. So I don't foresee this not working out. And that's it.
Yeah, I think that's really it.
Yeah, let's kick off the show.
Let's do that. Price report. Here we go. Just removing this.
Get Bawdy up here.
The Monerotopia Price Report segment is sponsored by Local Monero. Avoid using KYC exchanges. Buy and sell Monero directly for fiat, peer-to-peer. Hello, Bawdy. How's it going?
Bawdy, what's up, man?
Chilling. Always.
And despite what's going on in crypto price land.
Well, I mean, it's really not that surprising. We're not quite broken, like completely broken down yet. Depends on which chart you want to look at. Bitcoin's still kind of hanging out here in this little wedge formation. I put out a warning on, I think it was Tuesday on Twitter. I said, hey, just be careful. It's time to start thinking in protection mode. So
I did see that. So yeah, you got to follow Bawdy, guys, if you want to move your money around fast enough.
I mean, I've been pretty divided over the past, let's just say 2 weeks now. Like, okay, we came up here, things, I was kind of hoping we'd break a little bit higher up than we did. And then crypto just diverged downwards from stocks. Stocks have kept going up. Crypto's just been going down, down, down. And then with the news, with the SEC just deciding to sue everyone and their grandma, people have been kind of nervous.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it took another big hit recently in the last 24 hours, right? So was there more negative news that I'm not aware? I mean, obviously I know there was the delistings, and then the SEC went after Binance, and then it was this week, right? It was early this week when they announced that they're going after Coinbase, right?
Yeah, I think it was was it Monday? I guess it was Monday.
But I feel like another hammer dropped, or I guess that's just the price itself, not necessarily more bad news.
So I think the first bad news was they sued Binance, and then they sued Coinbase, and then to me the worst part is they're seeking an injunction against Binance to freeze all of their assets. Now, as much as I dislike CZ and the fraud and fakery that goes on there, freezing their assets is probably like the worst outcome for their victims. I mean, customers. Although, if you still have funds on Binance after all this, it's kind of your fault if your stuff gets frozen, right? You just shouldn't be on Binance. And there's been, after FTX and after all the exchange failures and all the bankruptcies of the past year, if you're still holding funds on the exchange, if you lose them, it's probably your fault. I mean, we always get new people coming into crypto, so there could be people that just don't know. But yeah, so it was that injunction. The SEC is seeking an injunction against Binance to freeze all of their assets, and this is Binance, all Binance, not just Binance US. Effectively, what they're saying is that CZ has been the proxy administrator or proxy CEO of Binance US, and they've been slushing funds around and a bunch of other stuff. So markets hate uncertainty, and that's what we have right now. We really don't know how this is going to turn out. I saw a good meme where, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs meme where the guy's got the rope around his neck, he's like, first time.
Oh yeah.
It's had all the shit coins that were being delisted, Monero's here first time.
Yeah.
Although that movie does end with him actually getting hung. So spoiler alert.
But you can't hang Monero, right? You can't kill it. No. So I guess but BNB has probably been getting wrecked, right? I'm just looking at that right now.
Yeah, actually, let's take a look.
I can't share your charts. I don't know if you're sharing it on your end.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, you're right. I was not sure. Here we go. Share screen.
Anybody who's listening on Spaces, obviously the best way to catch this is on YouTube, so you can see Bawdy's charts and whatnot.
There you go. Okay, there you go.
All right.
Or you can see the video on Twitter too, right? Don't we also stream it on Twitter as a video?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah. Now it should be. Is there? Yep, it's being streamed right now.
I didn't know you could stream videos on Twitter. That's cool.
Yeah, because we use StreamYard, so it's very easy. So it simultaneously streams on Twitter. Obviously, we have the Spaces too, but then
on Twitch. For those that don't want to use YouTube, you can use Twitch, Twitter.
But yeah, it's playing live on Twitter as well.
Yeah. So technically, as of right now, so I don't really have a whole lot of I don't know. I guess you could say I find myself a bit unprepared today, in the sense that I'm not going to be able to make any good predictions on where this market goes, because it's like a wounded beast can still, like a wounded bull can still swipe up, right? This thing can still pump. There's no reason it can't. But for me, I started exiting positions really the beginning of this week. I said, after everything that's happened, and it's just been down, down, down for crypto, I prefer to see setups that are significantly more, just more clear. I like seeing more clarity on the market. To me, January was a very clear opportunity to get in the market, and it seemed very clear to just sort of ride it out. At this point, okay, we could find a bottom. That could happen. But at the same time, maybe we don't. It's really hard to say which one. So I would rather just kind of play it safe, lock my gains in, and then wait for a better setup. But you can kind of see here with the Bitcoin chart, for example, this is really just a descending wedge, and these wedges tend to break to the upside. It's possible that we could see something like this happen and then come up here. There are sort of slightly longer term problems in the sense that, so if we have, let's go to the weekly, this will be easier. So that thick white line is the, kind of like the most shallow way that we could connect 2015 to the present action, and we basically broken down from that. On the shorter time frame, you can also see that this is kind of a bit of a slightly dubiously drawn line. Maybe we can go to Bitcoin plus ETH because I like this chart better. So this line feels a little bit more valid to me right there. So anyways, just kind of a long way of saying that, the game isn't over. Like it's not like it's doom and gloom here, but there is significantly more risk in the market. The other thing that I'm looking at that I think is important to point out is the NASDAQ and the S&P are coming up on some very important resistance levels. So we talked about this guy, and maybe it doesn't matter because we're like, crypto's just not been correlated to stocks for a while, but those correlations come and go. Anyway, so we're looking here at a Bollinger Band, and this is the 500 period Bollinger Band. So that would be the 500-day Bollinger Band. And the NASDAQ is basically starting to get within range of the top of that. You could try and plug in a bunch of different numbers, like we could go down to 400. You'll see that drops a little bit. We could try and go up to like maybe 700. And you'll notice that 500 is about the highest that any Bollinger Band really goes for the NASDAQ. It's like the top of the standard deviation. So Bollinger Bands, for those that don't know, are just standard deviation. So the orange line here would be the 500 moving average, and then the upper line would be the first standard deviation, and this would be the lower first standard deviation. You can change this, but to me it's arbitrary when you start saying, let's look at the 2 standard deviation or the 3 standard deviation. That's arbitrary. You're just doing an arbitrary multiplier, and I don't really like that. So at any rate, the point is that from a statistical perspective, the moving standard deviations top out for the NASDAQ right around here. And we have kind of a similar story with the S&P 500 as well. You can see that the S&P is basically reaching the top of that August pump that happened last year. So we're coming up against some pretty important resistance levels for the stock market as well. I am concerned about whether or not crypto is going to start sort of this big pullback that I've been expecting. If y'all remember, kind of at the end of last year, beginning of this year, I said, hey, we're looking to catch a big movement to the upside. It should be long-lived. It should be sustained. And over the past weeks, I've kind of been I've been suspicious over whether or not this thing could be over. Largely, I was still holding just because it seems like, hey, this area down here is a very likely candidate for an ultimate low of the bear market. And on long enough time frames, we should continue going up. Obviously, we've got the regression analysis, and we're kind of like sitting here in between these lines, but just be aware that like if we come down and touch this line, like that's 31% down for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes down that much, how much do some of these altcoins go down? Now, hypothetically, we could go up, maybe try and get up above this line. If you remember last week, we were kind of comparing to like the 2015, 2016 bear market, or the end of the bear market, where we kind of just like oscillated between that line. You'll notice here, there was almost an entire year of just like flat movement, right? Like, relatively flat. Let's see here. What would that be? 43%, which for crypto, for Bitcoin is actually pretty flat. So anyways, the point is that, we can still be out of the bear market, but there's nothing saying that we couldn't just kind of slowly bleed out for a period of time until bouncing up. It might take all the way until next year. So to me, it seems like the biggest gains, there's a good chance that the biggest gains, at least for now, are kind of have come and gone, and that we might be in like a sort of stagnant market for a period of time. So that's just something that y'all need to be prepared for if you're going to hodl. Like I said, we haven't fully broken everything down on the larger trend here, at least on the weeks to months long time frame, which is this descending wedge. There's a possibility it could break out. If it does, I'm probably looking at opportunities to exit. If it does, one thing that I'm seeing out there a bit more, I'm actually seeing more bullishness. I'm seeing people that have been kind of hesitant. They're starting to be like, oh yeah, it's time to get in, oh, this is just FUD, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get in the market now. And I'm seeing a little bit more of that. So, that's a small point. Again, you don't want to trade off of social sentiment. That's typically a bad thing to do unless you're like have access to loads of information and you're data processing it. Like this guy named Cliff Hyde did that in 2017, 2018. It was pretty clever what he did. And he was able to call a whole bunch of shitcoins before each one would pump off, because he had bots that would just crawl these forums. Like he would go into a gardening forum and his bots would pull information, and he would just be looking for mentions of like altcoins and stuff Probably that's not so good anymore because you've got bots putting out information for altcoins. You've got all the shills out there and their shill bots and their shill bot armies, so it's probably not as reliable. But back then it was actually really cool. Okay, we're looking at Bitcoin dominance right here. We can see Bitcoin dominance has now made a break to the upside. These lines right here, 52, 50%. I've on a long-term basis, I really have expected that we should, at least the technicals would say, the technicals on this chart would indicate that we should be coming up to these levels. So like the 52% level. There's again, there's kind of like Bollinger Bands up there, right? Statistical levels, but you can also see just this was important for Bitcoin dominance back in the last bear market, 2018, 2019. Also another kind of important area. Really, this whole area right here is important for obvious reasons, sort of horizontal areas of significance. So we're kind of in that now. It wouldn't be surprising to watch Bitcoin pounce a little bit more. We've seen the Bitcoin Ethereum ratio has taken a bit of a dip here overnight, basically. So Ethereum on long-term basis, I think, is going to continue going up. The chart is strong. The fundamentals are there. The Ethereum Bitcoin ratio is basically trying to like break out of this one last spot right there. So it hit some resistance. It's fallen back down. I would expect this to maybe do something like that and then come back to the upside. It could do it tomorrow. It could do it next month. We don't really know exactly, but ultimately this chart looks like that should go up. Let's take a look at Monero. I didn't want to go to Monero because I'm really sad about this wick down here, about this last candle. So we had like this support, this very long support going back all the way to that would be 2016. And so it looks like, okay, could we break out of this resistance? It looks like we were gonna, and then it just, I don't know what happened. It just went down. I don't have any good explanations for why we wouldn't have, because this line right here, that line that wasn't even a factor until we kind of got this extra capping action, right? So this was the connection point. This was the connection point. This back here earlier was, again, another obvious connection point. And so you think right here, once you break that, you kind of expect to make your way up. And that didn't happen. So I don't know what's going on there, why that's not happening. I would like to tell myself that, the DDoS against Tor that's been ongoing and darknets, maybe that's a factor, right? We just haven't had that extra strength that we normally would have had. It's really hard to say. For me personally, I don't understand the fundamental reason why we should break down like this. In terms of like the ratio to Bitcoin, we're not doing so bad. Like obviously we're not up here where we were. There was this massive wick down. Like it's just, and I don't know, that's a really weird wick to me. I don't see why that should happen, especially on a Saturday night. Like who's trading and selling Monero to that extent on a Saturday night? Obviously I want to say insiders, but there could be a lot of factors, right? There's bots and stuff as well. But the point is that we've kind of broken this down right here. And I mean, do these lines actually mean anything, right? We broke this and we didn't go to the upside. So we broke this down. Maybe we don't go to the downside now. It does seem to me like there was pretty massive support here at these areas. It seemed like even in the worst of the bear market, Monero just couldn't get any lower than that. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I'm just going to hodl. That's basically what I do with Monero. It's the only coin that I truly hodl. I just think that Monero overall just deserves that. Plus, there's the factor of sometimes you really do need digital freedom money. So always good to have some on the plate there on the table. Let's see. One thing that we've seen with the divergences, which I don't know if I believe these anymore. Okay, so if we go to very long time frames, so this is a look back of about 5,000 time frames or 5,000 candles. We're on the 5 minute, right? So this is something like, I think it's only like 10 days actually. But we have seen that Binance and KuCoin have just been massively accumulating, it looks like. Now, whether this is actually what's happening or they're just playing with these charts have started to make a lot less sense as of the past couple months. It almost seems like when I published them is when they stopped kind of working. Let's see, look back. Let's go to a 98 period. That's a much shorter time frame. But the point is that we have seen, and you can see this like for a while here. Let's zoom out. You can see that overall Binance and KuCoin again have been like in this very significant volume weighted positive price divergence. And then, as of last night, basically, they all went to the negative side here. And it's funny how that like just corresponds with that massive wick down that we had on the ratio. So, we got that. Overall, again, like just be careful, guys. Now is not the time to be taking huge risks. Could we go up? Yes. Are there going to be individual coins which pump? Yeah, almost certainly. But I mean, if you have gains here, in my mind, you want to try to be locking in some of those gains. You could miss out on some of the future action, but I personally like trading setups that are clear, that are long-term, higher likelihood, and right now it just doesn't seem to be that time. Maybe we can end with a little bit of a positive note by comparing Monero to some of the other proof of work. Maybe not all proof of work, but some of the other OG monetary use case coins. Right, so we've got this is the monthly chart. So Monero's still doing really good versus Bcash. I don't mean that as a pejorative. Sorry, guys, don't get angry. This is Monero versus Litecoin. Kind of like this weird channel. I've never actually seen a chart with this kind of pattern, where it's like wow, 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 and then it just like does this channel. But it is an upward channel. Monero versus Dash, still looking good. Kind of like this upward triangle here. Maybe we'll just break to the top side one day. Who knows? See, the only one, Zcash, we're just crushing Zcash. They're not even a player anymore. They're not a contender. Their blockchain is full of spam, and then the R blockchain which is just a code fork of Zcash, it is also starting to spam up as well. And there are people that would say, oh, well, now our anonymity set is so much higher. It's like, yeah, but if your blockchain is going to be terabytes from people that aren't actually using it, they're just spamming it. Like, does that make it? It's not really viable. We won't get into that too much. Maybe dGoon has something to say about that. But at any rate, we're doing pretty good against Zcash, and this should be expected to be continued. No one really uses Zcash. And then Stellar, I don't know. I guess Stellar's only relevant because Ripple's is relevant, and they like kind of a copy. But we're on the positive side of Stellar. The only coin that we're really not on the positive side of here is Ripple, and this is a bit. Sorry, go ahead.
That's crazy.
Well, it seems crazy, but here's the thing. If Monero has already gone through like delisting problems, or like first time, Ripple is in the same situation. They've been being attacked by the SEC for the last 2 years. They probably had a muted bull market because of the SEC, and they might actually get clarity before anybody else does. It's possible that the judge could issue summary judgment, or they could settle. They're much closer to going to their trial. So if Ripple settles and they don't get a life-destroying fine, they got billions and billions of dollars. So if they get a slap on the wrist fine, even if it's like $2 billion or something like EOS got, which I think was like $4 billion, and they survive as a company, then Ripple, the token, is very likely going to pump. So that might be a counterplay for you degens out there, to watch the Ripple case. But we've been watching the Ripple case for 6 to 12 months here, and we still haven't had any resolution. But Ripple has already gone through all of this SEC problem, so they're ahead of the curve. They might actually be able to pump ahead of everything else. So I'm not saying to go buy Ripple right now, but there might be an opportunity there. So one strategy that I think is okay. I'm going to get out of the market. Maybe I'll go make a very small leveraged play with a very minority of my stack on Ripple. And then, okay, if it doesn't pump, if it crashes, okay, then whatever, I write that off. But if it does pump, or it has the opportunity to pump while the rest of the market is crashing, that could keep you at even. And or if I'm wrong and the market decides to go up anyways, I say wrong, I'm not calling for a big crash here, but if I don't want to miss out on the pump without risking a whole bunch, you can put a small leverage play on a coin like Ripple and then just let it sit. And if it pumps, if the market pumps, Ripple will go up with it and you'll still be in on some of those gains. So that's one way, that's one strategy you might think about if you're a trader or degen. But honestly, hey, the Bitcoin maximalist gave us a lowest common denominator strategy against our own irresponsibility. So, you just hodl. That way you can't go losing all your money to yield chasing and shitcoin chasing. But if you did want to do a little bit of trading, that's one strategy you might use. So I guess that's about all I got for you guys today. Any questions?
No, man, no. So that's interesting. Ripple. I mean, isn't Ripple like represent kind of like the scammiest of all crypto? What's your overall take on Ripple?
Well, they're 100% pre-mined, and to me, they have a lot of false advertisement. They got out there and they said, oh, we're going to be the banker coin, and the bankers, we designed to be used with the banks. But like, are the banks really going to turn Jed McCaleb and whoever the other guy is into like the new Illuminati trillionaires, by adopting Ripple? Or are they just going to steal their code for their own CBDCs, right? Like, it's like they knew what they were doing. It's false advertisement. It's just BS. Were they a security? I don't know. I think probably kind of, but that's also stupid scribble laws that I don't care about. Like, I care about fraud. I care about hurting people. I don't care about like the dumb laws that some psychopaths wrote down on paper. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the scammiest because they didn't lie. Like, it's 100% pre-mine, and they didn't lie about what they were doing. They just lied about their partnerships and like their posturing, but. It's kind of like all cryptos, so I guess I don't consider them necessarily that much worse than anyone.
So that's an interesting take though, like because they're the canary in the coal mine with the SEC stuff, right? So we're gonna see the SEC's interpretation of these coins first with Ripple, is what you're thinking?
Yeah, it does seem to me like the SEC has fumbled this case in a number of ways. At the same time, the SEC has basically almost never lost at trial. So it's really hard to know what's going to come of that. I don't think it'll be a clear-cut victory for either one. And no matter what Judge Torres rules, there's going to be an appeal. So, this thing could still drag out for a long time. I do think that the name of the game when it comes to the SEC is to try to keep everything in this arbitrary, unknown area where they can kind of like go attack people however they want. There's no real rulings in courts. The only ones that they've taken to court are ones that they've had victories for. And they're trying to use the courts as a method of setting in stone their regulations. So like they'll try and take a very clear-cut case to court if they can, and then they'll say, oh, we have precedent for this now. And it'll be like a really, I'm being very vague here, I'm sorry, but it'll be like some really bad case of like one sort of particular thing, but then it will look like it applies to a bunch of other stuff. And so they don't have to actually go to Congress. They don't have to actually issue regulations or guidance or rulemaking like in the SEC's framework. All they have to do is go to court and then, set some kind of precedent and then bandy that around from now on. It's in bad faith. It's completely against what they're supposed to do. Yes, these are shit coins. Most of them are just like bullshit. Most of them are not going to do anything good for the world, but it's like, if you're going to press me up against the wall and say, would you rather deal with kind of like this land of corporate dickheads that are frauding people, whatever, or would you rather create a monolithic entity out of the government that can then attack even the good projects so that the good ones can't rise? I'll take the fraud if I have to choose between the two, because at least the good projects can still kind of stick around and not just get totally crushed by the government. That's just like my personal view on things. So.
What do you think of the cryptos that were named as securities? I mean, it seemed, I haven't been following it closely. I mean, a lot of these cryptos I don't even know, but the list doesn't seem completely comprehensive. Like, why did they choose the ones they chose, right? And obviously, like Ethereum, right, is not mentioned. I mean, it's kind of the ultimate example of what all this stuff is, right? It was really the first crypto to essentially, if we're going to label anything as security, I feel like Ethereum was like the first one to do it, right?
So Ripple actually predates it.
Offering and all that stuff. Yeah, Ripple predates it. But with this recent onslaught of the SEC against all these cryptos, all these ones that were named, and they leave out Ethereum, I don't know. I haven't been following it closely enough, but any reasoning as to why they left Ethereum out?
My guess, and I haven't dug that deep into it. My guess is that they probably selected coins that they could hold up in court as being securities today. So Ethereum, so there's a difference between selling something as an investment contract and then the secondary trading of that on the market. So the token or the Ethereum as a token, as like an asset that you can buy and sell and trade or whatever, that's almost certainly not security at this point. But it is possible that Ethereum, in fact, it's almost certain that Ethereum did sell investment contracts, probably to U.S. citizens. So the
Right.
SEC probably,
and it was listed on Coinbase in the early days, right? So like, it's not like statute of limitation. You know what I'm saying? Like there'd still be.
So they could go after like the Ethereum Foundation in that case, say, hey, you sold unregistered investment contracts to U.S. citizens, but they wouldn't be able, I extremely doubt they'll be able to go into a court and then say, hey, Ethereum as a network, Ethereum as a token right now is a security. They probably selected tokens that they could hold up in court and say, no, this is currently right now an investment contract. Like these tokens are securities at this moment.
Right. That makes sense. And Ethereum, well, I don't know. You think it's extremely clear that if they're labeling these things as securities, Ethereum completely dodges that bullet. Or like, how about Zcash? I mean, they have a corporation. They had the founders, essentially the founders reward. What's your take on that?
So securities laws are all about investment contracts, and to say that, for example, Zcash, that if I were to purchase Zcash, that amounts to a contract with Zuku or with the Electric Coin Company or the Zcash Foundation, man, you'd have a really hard time proving that. Like there was no meeting of the minds, there was no consideration, right? Like that would just be really hard to, I think, to prove in a court that's actually like a contract between myself and Zuku. These secondary market sales, like, I don't know. I see a reasonable doubt being raised. I see a lot of potential to counter that. The SEC's best vector here is probably to say, no, your original sale, right? The pre-sale of the token, the pre-mine, all that stuff, whatever, that was the investment contract. The people you sold to there, you made a direct deal with. They came to your website. You told them you were going to build this thing. You gave them a token that represented, an ownership stake in that thing. That could be done. But I just don't think they'll be able to prove that these are currently investment contracts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'll go deeper down that rabbit hole with somebody we can get on the show. But it seems kind of arbitrary with the coins that they were picking and the ones they were leaving out.
Yeah, it probably was arbitrary. They have a lot of motivations, right? They might have tried to find the lowest hanging fruit. They might have tried to find the ones that they feel are the most attackable, maybe the ones they can get the most money from, right? They've got a bunch of different motivations there.
Right.
It might be cool. Like, I don't know if we know any lawyers, but it would be cool to see a debate between two lawyers, one that would like take the SEC side, like, hey, all of these are securities, et cetera, and then for someone to take the other side, and like have a debate. That would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Another week of
Chaos.
chaos as we go further down in price.
Let's keep it in perspective. We're still up pretty good.
Yeah.
We're still up way more since like January.
You guys staying positive.
Just hold your Monero, use your Monero. Don't value it in terms of fiat.
Exactly.
All right, man.
All righty. Thank you. We'll see
Thanks,
you next
guys.
week. Awesome.
Talk to you later.
Bye. All righty. Let's move on to the Deve segment.
Do it.
And now for the Monero development segment.
Hello.
dGoon,
Hi.
what's
How
going
are
on,
ya?
man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm dealing with all the smoke. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we're on the East
It's
Coast.
finally cleared up.
I know.
over
Finally,
here.
yeah. Wednesday it was crazy. Wednesday.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. I was like, this is
It was
what a
creepy.
time to be alive.
Yeah.
We had the orange sky.
Yeah, it was like
in
an
the middle
orange
of the day.
sky. I know. I was just like, wow.
Orange for Monero, I guess. This is good for Monero somehow.
There you go.
It's about the
Good
Bitcoin
advertisement.
Mackie approach. This is somehow good
you
for
should have
Monero.
done like a bat signal, would just put down.
Well, I hope y'all are okay wearing your mask and everything. I haven't been getting outside as much as I should, which is sad, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, but it's clearing out, so it's much
Yeah, we'll
better
be
today,
outside
yeah.
today. I'm
Yeah.
ready to exercise outside again.
Yeah.
Looks decent enough.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
looks better, much better. But yeah, take
But
it away,
yeah.
my friend.
Today I'm gonna take I guess something that isn't, I guess, as technical or at the base layer as much. Today I'm gonna cover the Monero subscriptions wallet by Luke Profits. And just I guess as a fellow Monero entrepreneur, I have a soft spot for people who like try to build things, because building things in this space is incredibly difficult, especially if you're trying to be honest and straightforward, not VC funded, not do like have your own coin, do all this type of like ICO type things. Building your own business is incredibly hard. So I want to cover today something that is development related, but something that's a little more, at the application layer. So today we're going to talk about the Monero subscriptions wallet, and just a brief TLDR, I guess brief summary, is that this wallet essentially allows you to do reoccurring payments with Monero. And all you have to do as a person who wants to spend somewhere is put this wallet file, download the file, put it in your directory, and let it run its code. And it runs Python. So I'm super excited about this, and let's get into it. First question: why does this exist? Because as you know, Monero doesn't have easy smart contracts. If you're good at cryptography, right? If you're someone like Luke, if you're at the Monero talk, you can build your own smart contract and do all the things you want to do in Monero. But for mere mortals like us, Monero doesn't have easy to use smart contracts. So this means that subscriptions are hard to do, right? If it was like Ethereum, you could just throw a smart contract and have it send money every hour, every day, every week, etc., etc. But Monero is focused on privacy, so it doesn't support easy to use contracts like that, which I think is a good thing. I think you should be focused on one thing. We've seen millions of hacks that have happened because due to smart contracts, bad engineering, bad design, etc., etc. So I think this is a good thing. But what this means, though, that you have to push a lot of that those features to the application layer. So this is one of those application layers that we're at right now. And this is really cool to see, because look at this. This has 241 upvotes on Monero subreddit when it was announced, right? This is even the finished product at this point. This is just, hey, I'm going to build this decentralized Monero subscription wallet, and community is really excited about it. 241 is, I can't think of another like post for an application that got higher than that, but maybe there is. But this is really good. And the Monero community really wants something like this, because Monero is all about peer-to-peer cash transactions. And actually, so Luke Profit is a guy behind it, spent a lot of time working with different people. I believe Tuxedo is hosting the code, actually. I believe.
Okay. No, I didn't know that.
Hosting like the website for it, or the front end GUI website for it. It codes on GitHub, but they're hosting the website for it. I'm gonna show you in a little bit. And basically, the Luke has done it really well. It's written in Python, and it interacts with the Monero official wallet in a way where all you literally have to do is have your official Monero wallet running, and it doesn't have to be running 24/7. You can like leave it open as wallet once a week, and it'll go and pay your the appropriate subscriptions for you. And Luke is still working on it, but this software is live today. You can use it. I don't know any people accepting it right now, but I'm not sure if you need the actual vendor to accept it. They just need to be able to like, hey, I need to have 10, or let's say 1 XMR sent to me every month for me to run this service, and I give you the address to go through. So this is really huge, really good, cool thing. So I'm super excited about it. Yeah,
I mean, the use cases are amazing, right?
Yeah, this is really cool. Shout out to Luke, and like I said, there's easy setup. I think Tuxedo, this is the code that Tuxedo is hosting. I'm not too sure, but this is the code. It's basically a GUI that literally lets you create a subscription code easily. You can pick when you want the money sent to you. Let's say, for example, Doug wanted to have a subscription for Monero Nodo. I'm sure you don't do this, but let's say you wanted to have a $1 subscription for added features every month. Right now, there's not like a Patreon. There's like an easy way to do this, because like credit cards is pretty easy to do right with Stripe. But this allow Doug, for example, to post a code generator and be like, hey, I need to have this amount of Monero sent to me every week. And you could post this code and have it running, and it'd be pretty easy to do. So it's really good step forward for Monero, especially for use cases. You can imagine in many ways you could use this for Patreon, reoccurring payments, subscription services, anything you want to pay with reoccurring. This is the really cool way to do that. And for shoppers, once again, it's pretty straightforward, especially, I don't know if there's a GUI for it right now. I could be mistaken, but I didn't find a GUI on the GitHub. But if you wanted to set up as a shopper, you would simply download this repo. I can link to it later. Drop the folders in the appropriate place on your computer next to the official Monero wallet. Click run, and it runs. And I believe it doesn't have to be running 24/7. You could open it up once a week, right? And it would go through and check for subscriptions and pay out accordingly, which is really cool stuff. All this is built in the open, I must remind you, which is really cool. And Luke has been stellar in communicating with the community. Like I said, it got 200 and something votes on Reddit for the announcement, which is like really cool to see. So a lot of people obviously want this and are super excited about this. So it's just really cool tech that we see. And once again, this operates at the application layer. This is not something you would want to have in the Monero official wallet, like officially, right? Because something might be wrong with it, might be bugs. You want to keep that Monero wallet attack surface as small as you possibly can. So this is something that operates at the application layer, which I think is the correct way for building something like that, versus where Ethereum has everything baked in to sort of one layer-ish. So once again, this is at the application layer, and it's really cool. Monero reoccurring payments is awesome stuff. And once again, starting a Monero business is really hard, so we should give Luke all the support. So I have a soft spot for people who do that. And Luke Profits is working on other stuff too. They post regularly on Reddit, and I believe they're working on a Monero business wallet, sort of like that focuses on Monero business owners, allows you to instant transfer to cold storage. You could accept Monero pretty easily and all the different things like that. This is just an idea I saw on Reddit, so don't take it as like, end all be all. It's something else that Luke Profits is working on. I think these type of things, which are promoting Monero usage, are just as important as the stuff that Monero devs do, obviously, right? Because Monero devs are amazing. They do great development work. But if there's not anyone using it at the application layer, making it easy for merchants and things like that to use it, right, Monero adoption will be much harder and slower than it actually should be. So I think projects like this allow Monero to get a lot more attention, a lot more easy to use also, which is great for Monero adoption, which we need. It should be easy to use Monero. You shouldn't have to be a coder to run your own shop. Everyone should have access to free as in like freedom money that's uncensorable and private. Everyone should have access to that. And I think projects like this make that super easy to do. So if you want to follow Luke Profits, they're pretty active on social media. You should be subscribed to Monero subreddit. That's where you get like the hot new news. And I think that's pretty much it for today.
So do we have? Sorry, I was slightly distracted over here because we spilled some coffee. So do we have any examples of anybody that's using this yet? This subscription?
I wasn't able to find any on the GitHub, and I know Luke, if you're out there, please come on the show. We want to talk to you. We want to promote. Please. So I had to go scour and find things, and I wasn't able to find like a shop that was actually officially using it. But we might not know about it. It could just like anyone could use it, so it might not be public yet. And it seems to be a lot of attention.
If I wanted to get this going, let's say for like coffee, right? Coffee subscription. Yeah. People can pay whatever, $10, whatever it is, $15 a month for coffee delivered. We're saying it's so. What is the current? What would the current setup look like?
You would. Yeah, from my understanding, from reading the documents and playing around a little bit, you would simply go back here. So you would generate this code right here. And that's all that you would do as a person accepting payments, right? Of course, you would need like a wallet, but you would generate this code, and this is where you can configure all the stuff. You can select when you want to pay it, what's the wallet name, the billing cycle, the date, all that stuff here. And you would generate this. It will create like a text, and you would give that to the person shopping, and they would simply download this, download the Monero CLI wallet, and download this GitHub repo also and drop the files in. So I believe if you can drop files and click on things, that's all it takes. And they would need to run their wallet every once a month, and then they will automatically do all this. It doesn't have to even be running 24/7.
Okay.
So I think Lucas.
The idea is eventually we'd see this built into other like Monerujo and Cake and all those things, right?
Yes. Anyone that wants this will build it in. I think the devs, which I support, don't want it in Monero CLI, right? Because you want to make that as small and tight as you want to prevent like attacks and hacks. But I think a lot of people, Luke was talking about building his own wallet for Monero shoppers. So Where this will be used, I'm not too sure, but that's definitely a possibility. And someone will use this, right? As Monero grows, as the economy grows, people will want reoccurring subscription payments. So someone might use this code, but this core idea is going to be successful one day eventually.
Very
which
cool,
is really
man.
cool to see.
Yeah, very cool. I
mean, and also, Luke,
it's a little different than, because obviously, like with the credit card, it's easy to set up a reoccurring payment, right? But this, you're asking the customer to use a specific application and wallet for the purpose of setting up reoccurring payments, right?
Yeah, because that's the one downside of having it at the application layer.
Yeah,
is that the user, just like how Bitcoin tries to do privacy at the application layer is not as good, right? Because there's an application layer that's not built in. So that's the one downside of this, honestly. But it'd be pretty easy. I think Cake Wallet's pretty good. Imagine if Cake Wallet they adopt stuff like breakneck speeds. I know they got Trocador app.
Yeah. If some of the major wallets adopt it and it gets built into there, then
it's like it'll be like scan a QR code and pay for Doug's coffee. Scan it, boom, open your wallet once a month. It sends it, and you're good to go.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Awesome.
But yeah,
good topic.
And Luke, please come on the show. I want to talk to you about it and hear you talk about it, not me sort of have to like do investigative journalism to see what's going on with it. Please come on the show, promote your work. You're doing good work, and I would say thank you a lot.
Yeah, let's definitely get him on. dGoon, great work as always. Luke, if you're listening, please reach out. Or what's his handle?
It depends on the platform. I think I have their link tree. You want the Twitter?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, what is his Twitter?
I gotta go find it. I know. I asked Tuxedo because Tuxedo talks to him. Like Tuxedo actually runs the website.
I'll talk to Tuxedo and we'll try to.
Yeah, he's PC Changer P on Twitter, but he has a bunch. I think his Reddit is. Let me see his Reddit. His Reddit handle is literally Luke Profits on Reddit.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
But yeah. Also, I'm excited to hear about Monero Nodo. You were talking about that. That was live, right?
What do you mean live? What?
Like the crowd can hear you talking about the Monero thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to be exposing. I was like, wait, that was live, right?
No, just promoting it, letting people know if they want to help pre-purchase one. We're just trying to drum up more sales to keep it going.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Will it be ready for MoneroCon?
I don't think it's going to be ready for MoneroCon. I think we might be pushing it a little too hard there, and I don't think it's going to be ready for MoneroCon, to be honest.
If you have any questions,
but we're gonna have Abdullah come on, hopefully maybe next week, and he can give us the rundout.
Wait, on the show?
Yeah, we'll have him come on the show.
I'm so excited.
Talk about it. We could ask any questions people have. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna have them ready. It's not gonna be ready for MoneroCon. I don't think so.
No, I don't think
so. Yeah, it makes sense. Hardware is super hard, Doug. You are a very bold person for doing hardware development, because the one thing they tell you when you like start a business is like, don't do hardware. So
well, I mean, my hope was to get an initial iteration going, and then we'd perfect it as we go. But I mean, it appears he's been doing a great job. It's like I think I told you we've had others from like the Bitcoin community reach out to us that want to use the hardware that we put together. They love the specs. So Abdullah is doing something right. And I've spoken to the manufacturer directly. Very cool guy. He's all about. He's not like. He doesn't seem like he's in the business of trying to maximize profit. He's just a nerd, like the provider of the chips himself. That's getting them from China. Maybe we'll try to have him on too with Abdullah.
I think so.
Yeah. He's a very cool guy. He's kind of got like old school cypherpunk vibes. I don't know how Abdullah found him, but that's kind of the key, right? Like sourcing the materials. But yeah, we've definitely hit some bumps in the road with people that were helping us out with developing the user interface. But we're overcoming those bumps. It's just additional costs, right?
Is it a web application?
Yeah, there's gonna be a web app. and then just the user interface on the Nodo itself or the actual display. So we ran into some issues with somebody that was doing one aspect of that. So we had to have somebody else kind of clean up the mistakes he made. But we'll have Abdullah come on. Yeah, it's all full speed ahead. Just I don't think we're going to be ready by. We're not going to have a physical prototype for MoneroCon yet.
Yeah, I mean, if it was easy, we already have one by now. But there's a reason we don't, because it's like very difficult. Also, I would love to see like Abdul talk about, like, I feel like people like don't appreciate how hard it is to make a product and launch it, and specifically, and I know you're being very gracious, like it'd be like not trying to make like, you know, an insane profit margin on it, but like just how much work goes into it versus how much people are willing to pay for things, and how like, you know, nitpicky people are about pricing. And like, I'm like, dude, this guy's building something from scratch. If making 10-20%, that's like barely like,
right.
You know?
Right. And it's something that's going to help the Monero ecosystem. This is not a pathway to riches by any means, as far as I could tell. I mean, unless, you know, we sell whatever thousands and thousands of these things, but that would be a great thing for Monero, right? I mean, there's a longer term vision, right? If we could get a lot of people buying them, that become the Freedom Box, and then running different softwares on them. But yeah, right now we're just concentrating on simple plug and play Monero Node. But we'll get there. And we'll have Abdul on probably next week to give everybody the rundown.
Well, I'll definitely be tuned in for that. I don't want to give too much out, but I'm so excited.
If anybody wants to, you know, thinking like you want to help the efforts and help see it come to fruition, the best thing you can do is just pre-order one. And
are you pricing? Oh,
go ahead.
Are you pricing them in XMR or USD natively?
We have them priced in USD, and we accept, you know, people are paying.
Okay.
So we've taken a hit with that, right? Because everybody's paid in Monero, and now the price of Monero has gone down. But what we said is, you know, if God forbid, whatever, we don't, for something happens and we can't produce, you know, we'll return all the Monero in Monero, right? Because we're holding it in Monero. So we made that clear on the website. So you are taking that risk, but now would be a good time, right? I don't see Monero going that much lower than it is right now. So if you were to pre-order one today and pay in Monero, I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but I doubt we'll see much more of a dip in Monero's price. But yeah, that's that. But yeah, it helps us a lot when we see the sales come in, right? Because it just kind of, and it gives us more capital to work off of. So yeah,
alrighty.
That's that. Yeah, you could throw up the banner. Let's keep it moving.
Let's move on. Yeah, let's
see you.
Thanks so much, man. Dude, are you going to MoneroCon?
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I can only do one. I can only handle one. I don't know how y'all are doing. Y'all are superhuman. I can do just one. Like I've had my full. I've had my fill.
Yeah,
considering it was just a month ago for Monerotopia, but I feel like we're ready again, right?
Yeah, we're ready. Yeah. It's not too bad.
It felt like it was going to be too soon, but I don't know. I guess we're
a month and a half is, you know, good enough time.
Monero conference every month and a half. Yeah.
I'm surprised it wasn't like the week after Monerotopia.
Jesus. Oof.
We're gonna try to fix that moving forward. Maybe we'll move ours, or we'll talk to MoneroCon and we can
try to figure out
both move. So we're like maybe closer, like 6 months apart. Ideally, would be.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Yeah,
because then people can try to attend both. If possible. But all righty.
All right, buddy.
Thank you so much.
See you
next week.
Stick around if you can.
Bye.
I will.
All righty, let's move on to the news quickly. It's pre-recorded. Tony couldn't be with us today, but let's move on to that. And now for our weekly news segment.
Hey guys, and welcome to the news section. I hope that you had a good week. Today we have a lot of things to discuss when it comes to Monero. Then we have one article on Bitcoin, SEC, and CBDC. So let's get into the news section. The first thing that I want to discuss is Telemission's first anniversary, which was yesterday, June 9th. And Monero's emission is 0.6 Monero per block, which is every 2 minutes, or 0.3 Monero per minute. And this is a very important update that is part of Monero's Monero system. Then Rhino posted an article on Monero view-only wallets and Rhino's neat feature. So basically, a view-only wallet, for the people that don't know, allows you to see someone's Monero in their wallet if you're given the permission. So then they're discussing the difference between privacy and secrecy. So Monero is private in the sense that nobody can know how much Monero you have and what you do with it. But now you can add an element of secrecy where you allow someone to see what you do with that Monero, which can be very useful in for charities or for governments to see where your tax money goes and things of that nature. Or you may want to know a specific person what you've done with some specific money for funds, stuff like that. So it's a very, very useful feature that Rhino has been working on it. And their different approach, they say, from view-only wallets is that in our wallets show all inbound and outbound transactions, so the balance is up to date and does not require the exporting/importing of key images. Moreover, with a Rhino wallet, you do not need to scan the whole blockchain each time you access your wallet, which is very important. And the funds are there immediately for you to use as you wish. So that is a very cool feature. Rhino is a very interesting tool, so make sure that you check it out. Make sure that you read this article for yourself as well if you do wish to. And yeah, the next thing that I want to mention is Magic Monero Fund raising funds to prevent the EAE attack. Now, we're not going to get into what specifically the EAE attack is. It's called Eve Alice Eve. If you do want to know more information about it, then you can scroll down on this link and click on this YouTube link, and then you're going to have a 31-minute video explaining the poison outputs the EAE attack. But basically, we're trying to raise funds. Dr. Nathan Borgren, author of 2 prior works involving Monero statistical security, is trying to change that by spending the next couple of months researching the attack's efficiency along with others so we can better know how to stop them. And if you do want to support, click on the last link over here and donate. So far, we have 5 Moneros donated and 0 Bitcoin and 0 fiat. So make sure that you donate if you want to support Bitcoin and its security. Then we kind of mentioned Bitcoin, so I kind of want to step out of Monero for a little bit before we get into different Monero articles. And I want to mention that Nassim Taleb lashes out at Bitcoin and says it's transformed into a cult, which it has been, in my opinion, and many others. I can't read this article, but he said that Bitcoin is an ineffective cult that not even bad guys want to join anymore, said the author of The Black Swan, a best-selling book on the extreme impact of outlier events. Cryptocurrency falls short, and this is very interesting, on its claim to streamline payments and does not even facilitate illegal transactions well. Nassim Taleb told Bloomberg on Thursday. Now, it doesn't have to, of course, doesn't have to facilitate illegal transactions. I mean, it has to, but that's not what we want. But if it can do that, then it's not a form of money that can free society, essentially. Because if it doesn't do that, and you can't do whatever you want with the money without letting the whole world know or a certain organization, then you're not free, and someone is in control of your money, and that means that someone controls what you can do with it. So he probably doesn't know about Monero, but I'm very interested to see if he would find out about it, what he would think of it. And Nassim, if you ever want to come on the show, you are more than welcome. Then maybe you woke up just like me and you looked at the market and you thought, what the hell? Because everything is down 22%, 13%, 27% in the past 24 hours. Bitcoin is down 3% in the past 24 hours, but Monero has been holding very good as well at only minus 4%, which has been very, very stable, of course, because it has utility. And then I'm actually going to talk about Untraceable's post over here. He said most coins, and I'm going to use his term, puked minus 10% to minus 25% overnight, but Monero is at minus 4.7%, keeping up close with Bitcoin at minus 3%. Outperforming coins with large marketing teams, CEOs, VC funding listed in every exchange with shields under every tweet. That's what's going to happen. You're just going to plunge at every single little fluctuation. The Monero difference is utility, grassroots, and integrity. Now, I'm not going to pinpoint that this is why what happened. I don't know. Probably maybe just solely from this, whatever. But this SEC clampdown spurs $4 billion deposit flight from Binance, Coinbase, and Binance US. The SEC has been going out at Binance and Coinbase, and they have suffered a lot of withdrawals, $4 billion worth. So I'm actually today going to help a friend to get all of this stuff from Binance into a different wallet. And I've been telling him for a long time to not use Binance and not use all this stuff, but he doesn't listen. But now he's finally got to get him out, and I'm going to help him put him in a safe place. But yeah, so again, personally, I wouldn't use Binance. I wouldn't use Coinbase. I'll look into different places to store my crypto. It's not even yours if you put it in there. It's not a very safe place. So please take care and just get everything out. Don't wait for a Monero run or crypto run. Just get it all out and put it into a wallet. Now, quick mention, Kenya Central Bank is thinking about a CBDC. They all say that it's not a priority now. They're doing research, and they said that the implementation of a CBDC in Kenya may not be a compelling priority in the short to medium term. But significantly, Kenya's pain points in payment could potentially continue to be addressed by other innovative solutions around the existing ecosystem. So they're all saying that we're looking into it. Maybe it's not going to happen, but we all know that everybody's going to have CBDCs eventually. Now, I'm not going to get into this too much because we have the man, the myth, the legend, Anhdres on the show today explaining the new PocketChange feature that changes the user experience, reducing or eliminating the long waiting times between spends in Monero, which if you use Monero, you know what this is, and you know that it's kind of annoying at times, to be honest. But make sure that you check out the whole show today. Make sure that you listen to Anhdres, of course, dev section, price report, everything. And also, please check out this article from Anhdres in which he basically explains what it is and how it works, this new feature. And beautiful illustrations, like always, from Anhdres, and it's a very exciting feature. Then Elite Wallet is now available on iOS App Store. Basically what it is, it's an ultimate privacy-focused wallet in which you can take control of your financial privacy like never before. I haven't done my due diligence on doing research on this specific wallet, so please do before you use it. And yeah, it's good to see more privacy-focused wallets and projects that are coming around. That's very good to see. Then the last thing that I want to mention is a meme that the people on Twitter, you can see if you go on Traceable's Twitter account, but basically Robinhood delisted Cardano, Polygon, and Solana, and it's a meme in which you have Polygon, Cardano, and Solana with a rope around their necks, squeaking, squirming their faces, and then Monero's in the middle saying for first time. And then they'll look back at Monero because ultimately being like it's stronger. Crypto was not about it being listed on exchanges where you have to identify yourself in order to use it. This was not what it was all about. And if Monero is not going to exist on any centralized exchanges, well, guess what? We're still going to be able to use it. It's only going to make it more stable. People are still going to use it, so it's not going to affect us too much. Guys, this was this week's news section. Thank you so much for sticking through it. If you have any links that you want me to cover, please message me on Twitter, tag me at us, Monerotopia, and let us know if you want us to cover something specifically. Make sure that you watch the whole show. The links are in the description if you want to read all the articles. Again, look at the price report, dev section, and all of it. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
All right.
Awesome job, Tony. Thank you for doing
good job, Tony,
report.
wherever you are.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll start jumping on live again soon.
Yeah. Yes.
Although these are good.
Yeah.
These are good. I like
doing
that he keeps it nice and condensed.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the guest now.
Get the guest up.
This has been patiently waiting.
Our special guest.
Special. All righty, let's do this. The Monerotopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys. Woot woot. Hello, my friend. You are
Andres,
muted.
what's up, man?
There you go. Now you're not.
Hello, how is everybody?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I am good. Thank you, Tony, for the whole legend thing. I don't know what is the legend specifically.
Is it a good legend?
If it's a good one, it's a bad one. I don't know. People saw me in Monerotopia, so I'm not sure. I was in Mexico.
He's real.
So I don't know. I don't know what the legend is about. Yes.
He really is 7 feet tall.
Mhm.
Dude, I've finally been using Monerujo because now I got my Android.
Okay. Welcome to the dark side.
Beautiful. It's beautiful, man.
Yes.
Very, very well done. And I love all
I
the.
see you.
The
I see you in Android situation. Yes. Very weird.
It's different. Yeah.
It's different.
Very different.
Okay. So it works.
Yes, it works. It works. I set it up, and I'm just complimenting you. I mean, Monero, it's great. It's a great interface. I like the intro to the wallet, when you take the user through the process, and obviously that that was all you. I suspect, and the graphics and everything.
Yes.
It's very, very well made, man. Very well thought out. It's beautifully done. I think it's interesting. So each wallet has its own password. Like I just created one.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually haven't used Cake, for example, which is the one that you are very used to.
Mhm.
But one thing that I've noticed is that one of the differences, and it's just basically a user interface difference, they work the same behind, but is that in my opinion, right, Cake is like a bit more geared towards beginners, in the sense that when you start the wallet, you create a wallet, and it kind of assumes that you're using just one wallet, because basically your main screen is your last open wallet or something like that. I don't know. For what I've seen, is you see just one wallet already open if you enter your PIN, right? And you can switch. Switch wallets
exactly
in other place, right?
Yeah.
The way that Monerujo understands that is basically you have a main screen with all your wallets. So if you just have one, kind of makes not a lot of sense. But you have to enter the app. You don't need permissions to enter the app, basically, but you need permissions to enter a specific wallet.
Right. Yeah.
So every wallet has, of course, its own password.
Now, yes,
or biometrics or whatever. The reason behind that is, for example, in my case, in my regular Monerujo, on my phone, I have my daily wallet, so to speak, the one that has my Moneros, but I have a couple of, for example, view-only wallets. The wallet for the Monerujo donations, for example, I don't have the private keys. I only have the private wallet, the private key, the view keys.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everybody else that checks our funding page, for example, you have all the details there. So I can check if I get donations on the Monerujo wallet, but I cannot access the funds. So that's a separate wallet on my Monerujo app, so to speak. I have a couple of them. For example, the wallet that I use to stress test the wallet is actually the Monero General Fund wallet, because it has like 1 trillion transactions, and you can scroll for hours doing like this, and it still works. So if that wallet works, every wallet works.
Oh, that's what you have as you have the view key for that one set up.
I have. Yes, everybody has. I mean, I think it's on the getmonero.org website.
I love how easy you've made to set up a view only wallet. Very cool. But that was the only thing that I think that's a major difference in user interface between Cake and Monerujo is the separate password per wallets. But that's, once you get used to it, it's fine. Now, is there a way because I'm not an Android guy.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Or actually, this is actually graphene, right? So I'm super hardcore now. I'm now officially a cypherpunk.
You're officially a
Oh,
hacker.
yeah.
Yes.
Only took him a month and a half.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I'm keeping this thing clean. So I just have right now. So I just have I have Monero.com. I have Monerujo on here. I have my.
I just pretend to have graphene because I got a pixel.
Okay.
But I'm actually a normie. Yeah, so everybody at Mexico says, "Oh, you got this one. Oh, yeah, great graphene." And I say,
You're like,
yeah, sure. I will do it when I get home.
Now, is there a reason why you haven't moved to like graphene? Is it just because you haven't gotten around to it type thing, or is it
No, to be sincere, is because the reason I got this one was to be able to try how Monerujo works on Android 13. Basically, since I do most of the support for users, most people that need support are not super hardcore graphene users. I try to have the most stock experience possible.
Okay.
So I find the same issues that they found.
Yeah.
If you are a hardcore user and
I've never used traditional Android or whatever Google. I guess this is even a more pure version of Android.
Super Google. It's the Google phone. Yes.
Yeah, but this is fantastic. Like I haven't had any usability issues. And when I downloaded Monerujo, I used the Aurora store. It was super. It was like downloading any app on iPhone. But in an untraceable way, right? Like nobody knows I even downloaded Monerujo.
Well, now they know.
The same,
except for all my millions of followers.
if you use, you can also get it from F-Droid. That's how I use it, even if I'm not using graphene.
Well, it was weird. I opened up F-Droid and I tried searching Monerujo and it wasn't popping up. What's that about?
It's not going to pop up because Monerujo uses its own repository. So you have to manually add Monerujo's repository in F-Droid first, and then it's going to appear.
Yeah, I went to the Monerujo website after that, and that's what I saw. But then I tried like it wasn't doing it, and I was like, all right.
No, it's just
all this manual. I was like,
yes, it's just an address that you have to go in F-Droid and add a different, because every other app from F-Droid, besides a couple of them that do what we do, it's on the F-Droid main repository. I mean, F-Droid takes care of updating all the apps and all that. We are using our own, so we think it's a good way. If you're already using F-Droid, you are kind of like technically savvy yourself. So the way that it works is that we have our own repository that is signed by our own Deve, which is M2049er. So the APK goes straight from us, signed by us in our repository and to your phone.
Okay.
F-Droid it's just the interface.
Yeah, I mean,
they are not even building the app themselves.
Okay. So yeah, I wasn't able to download it through after. Like I realized there were some additional steps, and I was like,
fuck it. Yes.
But I was able to do it through the Aurora store. I don't know, maybe somebody more graphene knowledgeable.
No, it's all right because the Aurora store is basically the Play Store without the Play Store, so it works.
Right, it's the Play Store without all the tracking, right? Am I understanding that right? It's like, so what is the difference then between F-Droid and Aurora store? I don't want to. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't use Aurora store. I just go full Google Beach or F-Droid. But basically, the Aurora store is the Google Play Store without Google, basically.
Right, so it gets you to all the regular Google apps. So it's like you're at the Google Play Store, but
it's like using the Google Play Store without having to log in into your Google account.
Right, so Google doesn't
telling
know
Google what you are getting. Yes.
Right.
F-Droid is a different. It's a different beast. It's like in between you manually downloading the APK from GitHub or something like that. Mm-hmm. So instead of you having to actually manually do that every time you know that there is an update, what it does is pinging regularly the repository, letting you know if it's an update, and you update it. So it's more convenient.
What advantage am I getting through using F-Droid versus the Aurora store? So it's like I'm making sure that the code that I'm getting is not corrupted in any way. It's straight from the you're getting the repository directly, as opposed to Aurora store where there's some potential that you could be getting a corrupted version, I guess is the idea.
I wouldn't care that much.
I'm just trying to
already.
understand the differences, yeah.
I am yes. I'm not the tinfoil kind of paranoid guy. We try to have as many options as possible, and we know that the Monerujo crowd is a crowd that values having those options, the cyberpunk options. But yeah, it's as with always, it's a trade-off. I mean,
So we
there's
have
convenience.
Demi saying Aurora Store is a proxy between Google and the user. Okay, so you're basically effectively using the traditional Google Store, but you're not accessing it as a user, so they don't.
You're supposedly getting the same thing, the same
Right.
APK that you're getting from Google Store.
Got it. Awesome, man. And so so now tell us what this this new feature you guys added.
Right. So let me clarify something. Maybe I'm just saying things out of order, but since you mentioned the difference between, if just in case that some people come and use Monerujo, all right? So you have several wallets. You can have several wallets on the main screen, and you will have to open each one. And the whole PocketChange thing, it's a per account setting, right? Just in case people don't know it, and just to keep it beginner friendly, in Monero you have the tree, right? The hierarchical tree of things is you have wallets, and then inside each wallet you have different accounts, and every account has its own sub-addresses, right?
Yes.
So the difference between wallets, sub-addresses, and accounts is that you have many accounts on every wallet. This is in all wallets, right? In all apps, Monerujo, Cake, whatever. You have different, and every account has its own balance and spends from the same balance, right? And anything that goes into any sub-address goes to the balance of that account. So if you have two accounts on the same wallet, and one account has one XMR and the other one is empty, you cannot spend from the empty one by using the funds of the one that has one XMR. You have to send it to yourself. You have to move funds around. But if you receive to an account from different sub-addresses, whatever the amount is, all those sub-addresses are added up to the balance of that account. Does it make kind of sense? So your balance is per account. It's not per wallet.
Okay.
Right? So PocketChange is a per account setting.
Right.
Now, it is very confusing, but we can
not
go through
a per wallet setting. It's a per account setting.
Yeah. We could have made it a per wallet setting, so it applies to every account inside the wallet. But based on our own usage, and that's why we are releasing it for now as just the APK in the GitHub. So you have to really want to test this if you want this. This is not going to auto-update for now if you install it from the Google Play Store or even the F-Droid. Not even if you're on the beta channel on the Play Store. You have to manually go to GitHub and download the latest Monerujo version, right? So it's not just telling people it's not going to be there if you don't do this manually. All right. So you have to get it first, to get it downloaded first from the GitHub. I'm suppose you're going to put the link on the descriptions afterwards. But once you do that and you enter your wallet, you will see it like this. Let me show you. This is my open wallet, right? You go to the settings of the wallet in the top right screen. And the last option that you would see, it says PocketChange. Just gonna look kind of like this, right?
Is the option? Which show again where the option?
It's on the top right menu. Once you have your wallet open, this is like a wallet.
Yep.
You go to the account that you want to use PocketChange in. If it's the main one, it's just the main one. Top right menu, you have the settings for the wallet, and the last option is PocketChange.
Cool.
I can present if you want, like on the screen, but It's easy. Once you do that, you will have the option to enable it or disable it, and then you have the option to set the amounts. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So what is going on here? Or what is this for? As Tony said, one of the biggest pain points for Monero usage in general, but it's something that sadly you don't encounter daily because you don't use Monero a lot. But in cases like Monerotopia in Mexico, where you have several vendors next to each other that accepted Monero, you will notice that if you use your regular wallet, you spend once, you just pay for something in Monero, and then the change that comes back to your wallet for the Monero that you spent is locked for 20 minutes, right? It's locked by design, by Monero design. This is like a protocol design. It's not Cake, Monerujo, whatever. It happens to all of us. It's locked by 10 blocks. Since a block is roughly 2 minutes approximately, so it's 20 minutes you have to wait for your change to unlock, so you will be able to spend again. That's a pain in the ass, because basically if you are in Monerotopia and you bought, true story, you buy some tacos and you also want to buy some drinks, you have to wait 20 minutes between one and the other.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't run into that issue because I use my wallet so much for, not just for sending, but for receiving as well, that I have so many different, outputs sitting there that I personally don't like. I feel like the more you use Monero, the less you run into that problem, is my take on that.
Yeah, you know what? I am with you on that because my regular use wallet, like I use it quite a lot. But personal experience, if you don't receive, if you don't receive as much in regular amounts or small amounts, and you just use it kind of like symmetrically, you receive, but you also send, but you also receive, but you also send. What tends to happen is that those coins, so to speak, the two EXOs, get merged. So yours is like the best case possible ever, but it's not the usual case, even if you use your wallet often. If you spend more than you receive, something like that, you're not going to be creating change, so to speak. You have to do that manually. The way they understand it is that you can do that on Cake, on the command line wallet. You can create or just basically manually send to yourself. So if you want to be Doug, basically you can send to yourself several coins in advance, and be very wary on not spending those in advance, so you have several coins available for the moment that you need to spend, right? It's possible. We are not inventing anything new. What we are doing here is like automatically putting a setting that does it automatically for people. And what is important is that we are not only making a setting like a tool that does this for you when you hit that, but also a setting that makes it automatically in time, so you forget about it. Because one of the options will be to just put a button there that says create change, which is basically automatically made a multi-coin transaction, right? It's like going to create change for you once, but you have to remember to check on how many spend you take, so you have, and it's not the Monero way, in a sense that the Monero way for me is to make it as powerful for beginners as it is for advanced users, right? So if we have privacy by default, I want a setting that has like change by default, so to speak. My opinion, right? So the way that it works is that if you enable PocketChange, it's not only going to create change on the next transaction, but it's also going to keep track of how much change you have. And in following transactions, it will make as many change as necessary to keep those pockets full, so to speak, right? That's why the setting is important. So basically, if you know you're going to MoneroCon or Monerotopia or whatever, you go to an account. In my case, I created a special account for PocketChange, so I don't fill all my regular wallet with that. I put it PocketChange to it, and I sent once. I don't know if you can see it, but I sent once a transaction at the beginning, just for example 1 XMR, and I sent it once to myself to the very same wallet. On that transaction, it created a lot of change for me, like 10 pockets of 0.1 XMR. So what happened is that after that, I can even spend up to 0.1 XMR 10 times, even before the first confirmation. That will happen. I mean, you just like do like this, and you keep saying, okay. And that's stress testing it. If you do it more regularly, like, okay, once every 2 minutes, or perhaps 5 minutes went by and you purchase something else, and then you do something else, you have like 4 or 5, and then by the moment you need to spend again, you have the first unlocked ones already unlocked. So you don't even notice the whole thing. And the thing is hidden from the user. You just see that the unlocked amounts always have something. Of course, you will have some locked amounts from your transactions, all the little change that you get. But eventually you try to spend again, and you don't get the dreadful message that you don't have unlocked funds to spend. You just always have some spare change to change.
Fantastic.
And the way that it works is basically that once you enable that setting, on the following transaction, you can do it by yourself or just wait for the next time you spend Monero. But on the next transaction, it's going to, let's say, that's what I explained in the article, but let's say you want to spend, I don't know, 0.2, and you have the setting point set on let's create 0.1 XMR. As long as you have at least 1 XMR on the wallet, unless if you don't, it's just going to leave pockets empty, right? If your balance is not enough. But basically, when you do that first transaction, it takes the real transaction, sends the Monero the way that you, to the address that you, whatever you choose, and it's going to check the available funds that are on your wallet, and create like a bunch of 5, 6, or 10 more transactions that goes back to yourself. And then you see 20 minutes after that, you have 10 unlocked pockets of Monero to spend from the same wallet. If you haven't tried it, try it with Sonita. I mean, it's super weird. It's super weird. It really is weird to use a Monero wallet and just be able to spend once. I tried with a StageNet wallet, for example, with I don't know, 3 XMRs and a setting that was a bit higher than 0.1. And I really tried a regular amount, like it was, I don't know, 10 euros or something like that, or that you were paying for drinks or buying something. And I was able to spend more than 20 times before I got the first unlocked. Like in 20 minutes, more than... And my limitation wasn't my limitation was just sending, opening the send again, scanning the QR code again, and sending. You do that all the time. Tuck, 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 tuck. I've never used Monero like that again before. I mean, it's weird. It looks like Nano or something like that.
Right. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think we're there's probably few people that have used Monero in the real world as much as Sunita and I have, because like we go to conferences where we're handing out as much Monero as we can, right? So we're trying to get people to download wallets, and we send. So we've run into the problem, obviously, where, you know, in preparation for that conference, we'll send ourselves like, you know, $100 to a new wallet, and then we're running into the issue. Like I said, usually then for me, what I was doing in that scenario is I was just using one of my old wallets where I have a bunch of Monero in it and a bunch of outputs, and I really never ran into the issue. So it is, I do like to say that, because like people see it kind of as like a critical like thing, but if you use Monero enough and you have the inputs coming out, or you're making enough transactions, you always have enough, you always have an output waiting there to be used, right?
Yeah.
I think the easiest way to explain it to people is like bills, right? So it's like if you had $100 bill, and somebody gave it to you for the first time, right? So you don't have Monero, you get Monero for the first time in the form of somebody sends you $100 worth of Monero, and you have it in $100 bill form. Now you turn around and spend it for the first time, right? You go to spend it. You have to wait for that the change to come back, and now if you wanted to quickly spend again, you're still waiting for that person to give you back the change from that $100 bill. You have no bills left to spend, right? You gave it, you took $100 bill out of your pocket, you gave it to, you know, you went to buy a cup of coffee for it, you gave him $100, and now you're turning around and you want to buy a hot dog. You're still waiting for the guy who has the $100 bill for the coffee to turn around and give you the change back, right? So
the moment the analogy breaks,
you have no other bills to spend. You don't have the $100 bill anymore. So thinking in terms of bills, and so what you do is when you make that spend, you're getting back, instead of just, in addition to change, now you're also breaking the $100 bill. So now you have all these other denominations. So now you have whatever 520s, right? Essentially, is that I think
in your example,
think about it. You start thinking about these in terms of like bills, right? And like, so
I always explain like that to people with change, because people need to understand the concept of change in a cryptocurrency, right? Why cannot just send 0.2 and then I still have 0.8 left on my wallet? Well, it kind of doesn't work like that, because in the moment that you received one Monero, one XMR at first, it's just one bill, just like that you said.
Right.
And you need to actually break it apart to be able to spend 0.8.
Right.
And not the full XMR. So once people understand that with the bill thing, just like you said, you have to wait for the change to come back. The weird thing about Monero is that if you go to the cafe stand first, you buy your cafe, and you pay with your 100 bill, and they give you, I don't know if your coffee was bought in Denmark or something, it's like 10 euros. let's keep it like 10 euros of coffee, right? They give you $90 as change. But the weird moment now is that in real life you can just turn around and use those $90 right away. But in Monero land, those are given to you in a bag with a lock, with a time lock on it, and just like, well, I wanted to spend it right now. And so you have to wait.
Enjoy your
20 minutes until you can rip that bag apart and use your change again.
Right.
That's the weird part, right? What PocketChange does, or what you can do, is basically it's like, okay, the first time you do that, after the coffee, you have to wait those 20 minutes. But once you can rip that bag apart and you can take your bills out,
it's not just a $90 bill.
Instead of being just a $90 bill, you have a lot of them, right? A lot of tens, for example, 9 tens.
Right.
And then you can say, oh, okay, the next time that this happens, I can buy something less than 10, or even something that is 20, use 2 of them, but I still have the other ones unlocked. So I can do this and this and this and this and pay. As long as you have that change created. That's the whole point of the thing.
Right. And like I said, but where people really run into the issue is when they're using Monero essentially for the first time, right? Because they're receiving that quote unquote $100 bill, and now they want to turn around and spend it, and they have to wait. And even after that first spend, what's the
yeah,
Hold that thought.
kind of. I mean, I'm with you that if you use a Monero wallet often, you run into this.
because you have so many pieces, you have so many bills in your wallet waiting to be spent, right?
Yeah, but you have to get like Sarang here to explain it properly. But Monero is actually smart, so it tries to minimize. Basically, it tries to do the opposite of what we are trying to do here. So what is going to happen if you have many changes, it's going to try to use that change to pay for stuff, so you have less change, you have less dust, so to speak, you have less little coins running around in your wallet. So it will try to be smart and get those CEXs together, so you have less change, nor more eventually.
It's consolidating
It tries to consolidate.
I don't run into. I'm just saying I don't run because I'm a great use case, right? Because I'm doing it all the time. I rarely. I don't think I've ran into the issue on my one large wallet that I have.
You are the person that uses the Monero the most in the whole New York State.
You doubted that?
But if you're actually living off Monero,
I know.
Right? Like if we get to the point where people are using, so I just like to say that too, because I do people like, especially those that want to FUD Monero, right? They'll say, oh, you can't even use Monero because you got to wait 20 minutes after you send every transaction.
Yeah.
It's just not true. If you use Monero, you don't, and you're using it all the time, that's just not the case. You could go, you could go into a store, you could buy a cup of coffee, and then you could turn around and you can buy a donut from the donut guy 2 minutes later. And if you're using Monero all the time, you're just always going to have bills there that are waiting to be used. But your solution is beautiful to ensuring that people don't even run into that issue, right? Especially for those that maybe don't use it that much. It really just keeps breaking the chain. You have a ton of bills sitting in your pocket waiting to be spent, and you do it in a way where it's happening naturally as you're using Monero, so you don't even notice it, right? It's just that initial, you got to turn the feature on, you go to spend as you normally would, and now as you're spending, you're just getting more and more extra bills broken down to spend later.
You shouldn't notice anything different. I mean, because basically because when stuff works, we don't notice it. We notice it when it's annoying. So if you enable that, of course, we are not doing this by default. You have to manually enable this. And one of the reasons that we spent many months working on this, especially M2049er, which is actually the main dev of Monerujo, it was very complicated to reason it first, and all the little rules to when to create change, how much, whatever. So it's kind of difficult. But if it works, you should not notice it. And one of the reasons that we release it like this is because MoneroCon is on the horizon. So it's the same case as in Monerotopia. More than one people that uses Monero is going to be there in the same place trying to pay stuff with Monero. So it's like the best stress test place that we have.
These are great. These real world events.
and it should only be downloaded by people that want to try this and want to get his hands dirty. We are getting a lot of feedback from some of our users regarding, but how many pockets, how much change, what makes reason, how to make it more resilient to the chain analysis. We don't want to do anything that degrades privacy in some aspect. It doesn't, because it's a normal Monero transaction. We are not doing anything weird or wrong. But some people argue that it's better if it's 2 pockets or if it's 16, so it matches the amount of signatures in the ring. So this is the test period, right? use it, try, test it, provide feedback. Let's see how it works.
People
we said
are saying there's privacy concerns there potentially. Is that what you're saying?
No, not really for you. It's just, for example, so people said that, okay, but doesn't this create like blockchain bloat because you're making more transactions? You're basically making 10 transactions instead of just making one to spend. And my reply would be yes. And so basically, we are trying to get Monero used more, not less.
Right.
I don't care if it's just me or 10 more people.
I thought somebody had made a privacy claim, right? Because I don't know. Now you'd be able to, because now you're creating all these outputs of fixed denomination that people can start to notice. Is it like so you can start to distinguish, perhaps? Like, is there?
Look, the details is. It goes about me because for the way that the understanding is, first the amounts are hidden, right, in Monero, so that is not an issue,
right? This would just be a more signature issue.
More like, okay, but it's so like there are 10 transactions that are doing at the same time, so that could be like the issue, not the amounts and not the receivers.
More technical on that side of things. Yes. Try to give us some insight, like Justin Beer.
But what I understand, you could guess that was a PocketChange transaction, so to speak.
Right.
But of course, you cannot know who made it.
So now you know that it's a Monerujo user, perhaps.
Yeah,
right?
It's yes, something like that.
Right. But once everybody's using PocketChange, like once this becomes a standard, then that kind of goes away as well, right?
And of course, there are a lot of little details that you can tinker with, so all the amounts are not all the same all the time. But again, it's just like with the decoy selection thing in Monero itself, that as long as we are using ring signatures instead of just hiding the whole CK stuff in completely, you are running into this heuristics analysis that but you can kind of guess with 20% certainty that one of the signatures in this ring is never going to be perfect. Ring signatures is a great solution that we keep making better and better and better, and we can add more members and all that, but eventually it's always going to have his flaws, right? So this is I see this as kind of the same thing. Okay, it's not perfect. Let's make it better, or let's make it good enough.
Yeah, Demi is saying, if anything, maybe PocketChange is probably improving anonymity set as well, right? I mean, I don't know. We got to talk to like a Justin Berman or something, but that makes sense too, right? Because now you have all these new outputs to choose from, right? So the anonymity,
in a way, you're kind of churning,
right?
Which is something that some people, again, because Monero community is very special, some people say it's good, some people say it's not good. But somebody's sending stuff to yourself,
right? Somebody's asking, what was the question? I would point out, is the slider set on time, amount, or number pockets?
No, the slider right now, you cannot choose how many pockets you use. It's fixed on 10. But the sliders decides how big is those pockets. What is the amount?
Right.
Reasoning behind that is, for example, I missed the price report. How much is Monero now? 150, something like that?
I think it's like 140 or something.
140. Okay. If you use the lowest setting, that is 0.1, every pocket will be filled with the equivalent to $14, if I'm not doing the math wrong.
Right.
So it's an amount that is good for coffee and something, or maybe even a dinner or something, right?
Yes.
You get 10 of those created. If you set the amount higher, and if you have higher amounts of Monero in your wallet, you can use it for more expensive purchases. But again, I don't know who's going to use. I don't know the biggest one. I don't remember how much is the biggest one. I don't know who is going to spend more than 1 XMR in less than 20 minutes continuously.
Yeah. Oh, I also like the way
The highest one is 1.3 Monero. So it's like you have to spend $200 10 times before 20 minutes go by. I don't know.
I also like in Monerujo the setting where you could how you want to value your Monero, right? So I just have it in terms of XMR instead of USD. So that's awesome. I like that you could do that. That's very cool.
Yeah, one of the things that some users ask for and we haven't done still is to be able to make that option sticky. So people really want to have their wallets denominated, I don't know, in USD or euros all the time. And just have the XMR number as a backup, so to speak. So right now, the moment that it works is that every time you close and open your wallet again, you will see it in XMR again. Some people want that sticky, for example, to make it like, yeah, I always want to see my money in USD.
Oh, okay. No, I'll keep it.
It depends on how your maximalist level in blood.
Value to Monero. It's also better psychologically. Right? You don't see it fluctuating around. You're like, oh, no, it's still sitting there. One Monero.
It's just Monero. Yeah.
Granted, it's gonna buy me a lot less today, but not tomorrow. Awesome job, man. Exciting stuff. So, but yeah, currently it hasn't been released through the app. It's not an update on the app itself. You have to go download it on GitHub. So when is it going to be part of the regular app release? So it's like
probably in a few weeks after MoneroCon, or just right before, or basically right after. Because really, we see this as something that it cares. People that will care for this is people that actually do use Monero regularly. And if you're already on that use case, regardless of if you go to MoneroCon or not, you can download it and use it right now for yourself if you want. But we understand MoneroCon as a good testing case for it. We are going to be using it ourselves, trying to pay for stuff. And luckily, we got news. We were kind of worried. I was myself kind of worried about that, but luckily we got confirmation a couple of days ago that we are supposedly, let's just put everything between air quotes, but supposedly we will be able to pay in the Bitcoin Cafe in parallel ponies with Monero.
Yeah, I should hope so. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
On,
it was supposed to be the case, then it wasn't, and then
what's the freaking debate? I mean, we were able to get people.
It looks like it's a reality again.
To accept Monero. Yeah, they can't get cypherpunks that run the cypherpunk institution to agree to accept Monero. Come on,
let's
guys.
not say everything that we think because we are on a live stream right now. But it looks like at the bar we can also be able to.
I hope so.
We are going to be able to pay with Monero as well. Yes.
Yeah. Come on.
And of course, you always have. Not always, but I think at least in Lisbon, you have some merch that you can buy with Monero as well, from the Monero hardware team.
We'll be selling. Actually, all the coffee at MoneroCon will be gratuitous coffee, because they're obviously giving away coffee. But then we'll also be selling bags of coffee, and then we're going to be selling wine as well. Actually, so we have somebody in Portugal that's going to be providing, and we're using Monero to purchase the wine directly from the vineyard. The guy.
Nice. So it's a Monero-friendly vineyard.
Yeah, he agreed to accept Monero. We're going to have like 20 bottles of wine there for sale for Monero, and they were purchased with Monero. So.
He's trying to dethrone the Barolo as the Monero wine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Okay, so we are getting coffee from Guatemala.
Coffee wine from Colombia.
No, Colombia.
It's
from Colombia.
Yep.
Coffee from Colombia, wine from Portugal, and I've been told that there are going to be mate drinks as well from Paraguay, not from Argentina.
Oh.
Not
yet.
But it's a different kind of mate. It's a different kind of mate. They drink it cold, which is good for summer. They drink it cold with some fruits there, maybe some orange juice, something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So we will see.
I got to get into the mate. I got to get back into the mate. Dude, I'm telling you,
You should.
Monerotopia in Buenos Aires is high up out there on the list. I don't know. What do you think? He looks scared. He looks terrified.
I am terrified. No, I mean, Buenos Aires, it's the formal response would be Buenos Aires is a very nice city to make a crypto-related thing because crypto here has been adopted not in masses, but since pretty much the beginning. If you read
out of a real need, it's not like just people
out of a real need. You don't have to explain the how bad fiat money is to anybody here, and people are more than willing to risk investing, so to speak, in basically anything because even Monero goes up against the peso all the time, so it always looks like a good investment. But yeah, if you read any like Bitcoin storybook, you will see that many of the first Bitcoiners were Argentinians, or many of the first Bitcoin-related companies or ventures were Argentinian, and the same goes with the Ethereum community. Must know, but many of the Ethereum developments and teams are or from Argentina or are integrated by Argentinians living abroad. So people are very aware of that. It's not massive adoption. It's not like you go to the groceries and you pay with crypto. But for personal savings and for basically to work for abroad and be able to earn in something that is not pesos, people use that all the time. Crypto is very adopted in the tech community or whoever works for basically for USD abroad just gets crypto and sells crypto in the black market here, so to speak, peer to peer. So that's the way to go around monetary restrictions here.
You think we'd be able to pull in locals like we did in Mexico? You think there'd be some good local interest in a Monerotopia conference? Like, same type of vibe. We keep it super cheap for local. Like, would they come check it out? Same thing with the marketplace and all that. You think there'd be?
I think so. I really think so. Monero awareness is basically non-existent, to be sincere. But on the same time, I think that if you talk with people set up a market or something like that, the interest is going to be there. And they will be friendly towards crypto or whatever that you propose, because out of need. I mean, and also interest. Because people are looking for alternatives all the time here, all the time. So I think that will work. And unless we, to be frank, unless we do a quick turnaround of the economic situation here, we are already above 100% inflation yearly, above. Aiming towards 130 if you believe some people next year. So it's going to be cheap. Mostly exactly. To set anything here. Yes, the downside for most people attending, I've been asked about MoneroCon as well, to make it in Argentina, and the biggest con for everybody else is just the flight. I mean, it's simply further away.
Well, so, let MoneroCon stay in Europe, and we'll hold down.
You want to be the Americas guy. I mean, it's like it's like Western against I don't mind.
We gotta divide and conquer, man. Divide and conquer.
Yeah. Besides that, I mean, Buenos Aires is a huge city. It's just like Mexico City, which is also huge, or San Pablo. It's like millions of people live here. So you have thousands of restaurants, bar, everything else. It's a super lively city. And we have the one thing that we have is kind of the inheritance of the Spaniards and the Italians and all that. It's basically like a fake Spain or Italy here in Buenos Aires, which is we tend to sleep very late and you can
Stay up very late.
Stay up very
You
I
late.
remember
can-
I was there years ago. We were getting dinner like we
10
were
p.m.
at like 10
you
p.m.
can get dinner or
Or
enter
there.
a restaurant at 12 in the
Yeah,
I remember
midnight,
like
and
families were
order stuff.
strolling in at like 11 p.m. with like young
Yeah,
kids.
for sure.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
still early.
so
Loved it.
people tend to have a good time here because it's very friendly towards that. I mean, you have a lot of things to do and places to go. It's a very big city, very cosmopolitan. So
And we have you there, man. I mean, you're one of a kind is Anhdres.
one of a kind is not
The
necessarily a
legend.
good thing.
The
It's just
legend.
it's just that is me. Yeah. No, we have a couple more. But yeah, really
He's like just me.
Basically, the Monero community is very small, but again, I think that it's events like that bring awareness as well. For example, I think it is today. I'm not going, but I think it is today. The Bitcoin, like the official Bitcoin space here in Buenos Aires, one of the first ones is like called Bitcoin Argentina. Is 10 years old now. It's an NGO, you would say, to bring Bitcoin awareness and crypto in general. It's the first place that I've been invited like 5 years ago or something to present about Monero. So they are not like super maximalists and all that. And today they are organizing. I think it's today. They are organizing this afternoon a gathering on a stadium to create like the biggest bee in the world. So basically, you are getting people that are Bitcoiners together to make a bee out of people and photograph it from above.
Oh, that's
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So if you can pull that off, there are people like cryptocurrencies. I mean, there are thousands and thousands of people actually using cryptocurrency daily in Argentina. It's just that it's in the Monero fashion. It's under the radar of everybody else.
Right. All right, man. I guess we could see if does anybody want to
stage. Yeah.
Anybody want to jump up?
People have questions.
Yeah, stick around for a sec if you can. We'll see if there's anybody out there that wants to jump up on stage.
All right, let's do this.
Throw the link in there.
I already did. We got a few people actually. So
okay. Yeah, let's do it.
It's the Viewers on Stage segment. It's that time where we invite you, the viewers, up on stage to comment on anything you've heard so far today, ask the guest a question, or maybe talk about one of the news topics. Come on down. Very cheesy. Hello. We have 3 on board here.
Sweet. Yeah, for those that are listening on Twitter Spaces, I mean, I don't know. We haven't been jumping in the spaces. We do that. It's just better on StreamYard, right?
Yeah, it's just smoother.
Yeah. We get it makes for better quality. You want to drop the StreamYard link in the spaces?
Yeah,
because maybe there's people on spaces that want to come up.
Yeah, try to do that.
For those of you that are in spaces, it's super easy. You just click the link. You don't need to like download an app or sign up to anything. Just throws you right up on here. Who do we got? Who we got up here?
We got D-Martian.
Oh, we got D-Martian. What's going on,
D-Martian.
man? We got Alaska Anon. I have a feeling who that might be.
And dGoon.
D-Martian, what's going on?
I muted you guys, but you guys can unmute yourselves whenever you guys want to talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Whoa,
familiar sounding voice.
How's it going?
Well, we are eternally blessed here in the Arctic Circle. That's for sure.
Awesome. You have any questions for Anhdres?
How's the weather?
It's warm and sunny and beautiful and green for 6 months a year for nonstop. I did actually have a question for Anhdres. So you had mentioned that you're using it like publicly in normie mode, let's call it, like in safe mode or however you want to describe it. Can you share any other quirks with us other than, as you had said before, like the new guy spending problem? Are there any other quirks that devs should be aware of? That was one of the reasons why I started the Get Graphene OS thing that they were talking about at the beginning of the show, was over and over again, I was finding that people found it way too difficult a barrier of entry to just get a smartphone. And I'm wondering, what have you found from interacting with people onboarding with Monero, other than what we've already described in the show?
Well, from my experience onboarding people, one of the most annoying things that is very much related to PocketChange, but PocketChange doesn't solve that, since you get the benefits of the first transaction, basically, is that, for example, you onboard someone, you create their wallet for the first time, and you send them Monero, and then even if you have PocketChange enabled, they have to wait 20 minutes more to be able to send it again. So, and you can ask, well, but they just got Monero. Why do they want to sell Monero again? Yeah, because when you're trying to explain people how it works, you want for them to be able to receive and send in front of you so they understand how to do it. So basically, we have a workshop in Monerotopia, and I had to do the whole thing from 2 different wallets to 2 different guys, and keep talking for 20 minutes, making stuff up. So the amounts unlocked, and they could try in front of me how to send to themselves, right, to each other. Okay, let's just play a role game now, and you buy something from her, you play something, and in the first interaction, they get into this roadblock. I mean, it looks very unnatural for them. You're just explaining how Monero works. They are very, very beginners, and they don't understand why they cannot sell it again, because they see the Monero coming into their wallets. So that's a quirk. The other thing that is not bad, but you will notice it, is that when you open a transaction that you made with PocketChange enable, let me see if I can find one here. Okay, this one. This is the first transaction that I do after making PocketChange. And you can focus on this. When you go into the details screen, you will see that it's very, very long, because you get all the transactions IDs and all the destination addresses and all that for 10 different transactions, actually. So when you see it on your main screen, it looks like one, but if you go into the transaction details, you see all of that. So not many beginner users check the details of a transaction, but if you do, you will see that it's very kind of weird, because you have a lot of and you can see, if you want to check if it works for yourself, you just make a PocketChange transaction, and you see them below it, and it says, for example, in this case, that I sent 0.0011, and then it created a lot of 0.1 transactions. So besides that, you don't have anything. You don't notice anything.
I found the whole concept very interesting, because as soon as you had mentioned what it is that you were doing and how you were doing it, my first thought was it would be very easy to tweak what it is that you have set up here to improve the anonymity set. Now, it would be a little more complicated of a code base, but the thing is you've done a very important conceptual step forward, where you could take the PocketChange breakdown, and you could add like maybe a simple timer, or you could add a little bit of randomness, where the first 4 changes are randomly generated between this number and this number, and then the rest are generated to make the number your target number. And right there you have for yourself several more transaction obfuscations. Now, obviously a lot of thinking would have to be done for how best to implement this, but it seems like a no-brainer to me that this could really rapidly improve the anonymity set. Not that it's even too weak now, it's great now, but it could make it even greater. So transactions today would be future-proofed, 100 years from now.
Yeah, for sure. Every question that I have myself regarding that, the full credit of everything technical in here goes to M2049er. We coded the whole thing and made all the math to make it work. Every question that I had like 3 different answers, because everything that you touch or you tweak, it makes it or even harder from the coding perspective or more complicated. So every time you get into more complexity, of course, you are risking having an error made up in the process somewhere. But yeah, for sure, it's all up in the air. The discussions about how much amounts, how the amounts are calculated, how many pockets, so to speak. The way that it works, I don't know if I said it. It works by sending to your first 10 sub-addresses. That's the way that it avoids it getting all the change merged again, so to speak. So the first 10 sub-addresses of your account are the ones that are going to get the change.
On a side note, I would like to make a donation to dGoon's Monero Node machine, please.
Oh no, that's ours, man. That's ours.
No, I'm saying I want to purchase his first. I would like to send the money to buy dGoon's Monero Nodo.
I'm saying, yeah, the Monero Nodo is our project.
I know it's your project. I'm saying I want to buy the first one for dGoon. If you could.
Oh, for dGoon, amazing.
Yes,
Holy
if
shit.
you could get in touch with me afterward, Doug, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll do. So yeah, Alaska Anon, I guess those that are putting the pieces together, he's the one that was so kind to give me my first de-Googled phone. And he's the one we just did a Monero talk this week. Amazing person, as I'm sure you can already decipher from the few moments he's been up here. Wow, thank you, man. That's very nice of you. dGoon, are you still there?
Yes, I just muted myself. Wow, that's very generous. I think we met at MoneroCon, the Monerotopia also. I remember being very
yes, we did.
Locked into your conversation, talking about your your phone project.
That's right. That's we have met before, and Bawdy. I met Bawdy too down there, which is yet another reason, people, if you're not going to these Monerotopias, you really have to take a hard look at your life and figure out what's wrong with you.
Bawdy, you there?
Hey, sorry, had to go turn off my fan, so it didn't.
No worries. Yeah, no, Jake was a tremendous help at Monerotopia as well, in addition to giving me my de-Googled phone. All right.
Thanks for getting Doug to use an Android phone. Yes.
A pure Android. Bawdy, you have any comments based on what we heard today?
Not really. I mean, you guys are awesome. Y'all are bringing all the good stuff to the table. I appreciate everyone.
You're right. Alaska Anon, anything else you want to leave people with, or any other questions to Anhdres?
I think he makes a good point about, I mean, some of the things that he said earlier. I'm really leaning toward maybe the next Monerotopia also being in Mexico. Maybe not necessarily Mexico City. I don't know, but I think maybe Mexico is the right place next year too. But that's up to you, right? You're the captain of the ship, so.
I'm taking it all in. No, I understand. Well, Argentina's far. It's far, especially if you're coming from Alaska. It's a decent trip, right?
Everywhere is far if you're in Alaska.
Unless you come from Brazil, it's far. Yes.
All right, guys. I think we'll wrap it up here, unless anybody has any final questions for Andreas, or anybody want to bring anything up to close it out. Anything? Any final comments for this week? Otherwise, I'm going to go feast on some organic free-range eggs and bacon. Anybody? Anything? Andreas, anything you want to leave us with?
No, just thank you for the opportunity to explain this again to people. And just saying to everybody else that check, well, you can leave a link down there, or check any of our social channels, Monerujo wallet on Twitter or on Reddit or whatever. And the links, or if you can go straight to the GitHub, is even better. The website for us is monerujo.io. But you will reach the GitHub, where it's basically the latest release that has PocketChange in. And check it, try it for yourself. If you are in doubt, use a regular wallet that you have and create a different account. If you are like worried of the change or whatever, or you don't want to mess up with your normal wallet, you can use your normal wallet and just create a different account for specifically for PocketChange. And try there. Send some. You don't even have to wait for the first Monero spending that you need. You just can send to yourself. Change is going to be created, and play with it. Play with it and provide feedback. Get on any of our channels. We are on Matrix. We are on Twitter. We are on Reddit and Telegram as well. Send feedback. Send ideas. This is not a work in progress in the sense that it's not done. It actually works just as it is. It may very well be their final shape, but if we get enough feedback or something that is crazy that we haven't thought about it, we can consider it and provide it. And in a couple of weeks, if everything goes well and nothing breaks, because it always does, we are going to release it for the masses. And this is going to be a reality for everybody using Monerujo.
Awesome, man. All right. Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andreas, as always, for jumping on. Alaska Anon, thank you, man. Thanks again.
Sorry, one more thing. Sorry. And we are also attending MoneroCon, just in case it wasn't clear. So so if anybody besides you two that we already met on in more than one continent
already.
No, we had a really good time. We need to find a cave restaurant in Prague, another cave. Nice. But anybody that is going to attend MoneroCon and want to reach to us in person, we are going to be there. We're going to be a Monerujo presence there. So reach out, say hello, and it will be very nice to meet Monerujo users in the flesh.
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys can use Monerotalk23 discount code, 23% off. Yeah, we'll close it out there. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, dGoon, as always. Thank you, Alaska Anon, Jake, man. Greatly appreciate the new phone and the offer to buy dGoon, a Monero Nodo. I'll certainly hit you up for that. Bawdy, thanks as always, man.
On session, of course. Hit me up on session.
It's the only way.
All right,
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Have a good one, guys. Adios.
Remember, one Monero always equals one Monero.
My goodness gracious. Here
Adios.
Adios, peeps. Bye. Thank you for joining us on this week's Monerotopia episode. We stream live shows every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find and subscribe to our show on YouTube and Odyssey, or listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or join us in the Monerotopia Telegram group. See you all next week.